Hi everybody, welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie and today we're on day 215. Welcome to the channel. I am so happy that you're here today. We are going to be reading out of Ruth chapter 2, Jeremiah chapter 31, but we're only reading verses 1 through 22 today. And then we're going to finish the book of Colossians by reading Colossians chapter 4, and then we will close out our day with Psalm 113. So let's get started in Ruth chapter 2. Here we go. Naomi had a relative of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. Ruth, the Moabitess, said to Naomi, "Let me now go to the field and glean among the ears of grain after him in whose sight I find favor." She said to her, "Go, my daughter." She went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and she happened to come to the portion of the field belonging to Boaz, who was the family of Elimelech. Behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, "May Yahweh be with you." They answered him, "May Yahweh bless you." Then Boaz said to his servant, who was set over the reapers, "Whose young lady is this?" The servant who was set over the reapers answered, "It is the Moabite lady, who came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab." She said, "Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves." So she came and has continued even from the morning until now, except that she rested a little in the house. Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, don't go and glean in another field, and don't go from here, but stay here close to my maidens. Let your eyes be on the field that they reap, and go after them. Haven't I commanded the young men not to touch you? When you are thirsty, go to the vessels and drink from that which the young men have drawn." Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said to him, "Why have I found favor in your sight, that you should take knowledge of me, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz answered her, "I have been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and now you have left your father, your mother, and the land of your birth, and have come to the people that you didn't know before. May Yahweh repay your work, and a full reward be given to you from Yahweh, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." And then she said, "Let me find favor in your sight, my Lord, because you have comforted me, and because you have spoken kindly to your servant, though I am not as one of your servants." At mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come here and eat some bread, and dip your morsel in the vinegar." She sat beside the reapers, and they passed her parched grain. She ate, was satisfied, and left some of it. When she had risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, "Let her glean even among the sheaves, and don't reproach her. Also pull out some from her from the bundles, and leave it. Let her glean, and don't rebuke her." So she gleaned in the field until the evening, and she beat out that which she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. She took it up and went into the city. Then her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought out and gave to her that which she had left after she had enough. I'm going to read that again. That was a little tongue twister for me. This is verse 18. She took it up and went into the city. Then her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought out and gave to her that which she had left after she had enough. Her mother-in-law said to her, "Where have you been gleaning today? Where have you worked? Blessed be he who noticed you." She told her mother-in-law with whom she had worked, "The man's name with whom I work today is Boaz." Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, "May he be blessed by Yahweh, who has not abandoned his kindness to the living and to the dead. Naomi said to her, "The man is a close relative of us, one of our near kinsmen." Ruth, the Moabitess, said, "Yes, he said to me, 'You shall stay close to my young men until they have finished all my harvest.'" Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, "It is good, my daughter, that you go out with the maidens, and that they not meet you in any other field." So she stayed close to the maidens of Boaz to glean to the end of barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and she lived with her mother-in-law. Yes, so that is the introduction of Boaz and how Ruth met Boaz. We'll read more of it tomorrow. Okay, Jeremiah 31, 1 through 22. All right, at that time, says Yahweh, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they will be my people. Yahweh says, the people who survived the sword found favor in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Yahweh appeared of old to me, saying, yes, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore I have drawn you with loving kindness. I will build you again, and you will be built, O Virgin of Israel. You will again be abandoned with your tambourines, and will go out in dances of those who make merry. Again you will plant vineyards on the mountain of Samaria. The planters will plant, and will enjoy its fruit. For there will be a day that the watchmen on the hills of Ephraim cry, Arise, let's go up to Zion to Yahweh our God. For Yahweh says, Sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout for the chief of the nations. Publish, praise, and say, Yahweh, save our people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the uttermost parts of the earth, along with the blind and the lame, the women with child, and her who travails with child together. They will return as great company. They will come with weeping. I will lead them with petitions. I will cause them to walk by rivers of waters in a straight way in which they won't stumble. For I am a father to Israel. Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear Yahweh's word, you nations, and declare it in the distant islands. Say, He who scatters Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. For Yahweh has ransomed Jacob and redeemed him from the hand of him who was stronger than he. They will come and sing in the height of Zion, and will flow to the goodness of Yahweh, to the grain, to the new wine, to the oil, and to the young of the flock and of the herd. Their soul will be as a watered garden. They will not sorrow any more at all. Then the virgins will rejoice in the dance, the young men and the old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy. And I will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow. I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people will be satisfied with my goodness, says Yahweh. Yahweh says, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children because they are no more. Yahweh says, refrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears, for your work will be rewarded, says Yahweh. They will come again from the land of the enemy. There is hope for your latter end, says Yahweh. Your children will come again to their own territory. I have surely heard Ephraim grieving thus. You have chastised me, and I was chastised as an untrained calf. Turn me and I will be turned, for you are Yahweh my God. Surely after that I was turned, and I repented. After that I was instructed. I struck my thigh. I was ashamed, yes, even confounded, because I bore the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a darling child? For as often as I speak against him, I still earnestly remember him. Therefore my heart yearns for him, and I will surely have mercy on him, says Yahweh. Set up road signs, make guideposts. Set your heart towards the highway, even the way by which you went. Turn again, Virgin of Israel. Turn again to these cities. How long will you go here and there, you backsliding daughter? For Yahweh has created a new thing in the earth. A woman will encompass a man. Okay, moving into Colossians chapter 4. We're going to finish that up today. Here we go. Masters, give your servants that which is just and equal, knowing that you also have a master in heaven. Continue steadfastly in prayer, watching in it with thanksgiving, praying together for us also, that God may open to us a door for the word, to speak the mystery of Christ, for which I am also in bonds, that I may reveal it as I ought to speak. Walk in wisdom toward those who are outside, redeeming the time. Let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how you ought to answer each one. All my affairs will be made known to you by Tychicus, the beloved brother, faithful servant, and fellow bondservant in the Lord. I am sending him to you for this very purpose, that he may know your circumstance and comfort your hearts, together with Onesimus, the faithful and beloved brother, who is one of you. They will make known to you everything that is going on here. Aristarchus, my fellow prisoner, greets you, and Mark, the cousin of Barnabas, concerning whom you received instructions. If he comes to you, receive him. And Jesus, who is also called Justus, or Justus. These are my only fellow workers for God's kingdom, who are of the circumcision, men who have been a comfort to me. Epaphras, who is one of you, a servant of Christ, salutes you, always striving for you in his prayers, that you may stand perfect and complete in all the will of God. For I testify about him that he has great zeal for you, and for those in Laodicea, and for those in Hierapolis. Luke, the beloved physician, and Demas greet you. Greet the brothers who are in Laodicea with Nymphas, and the assembly that is in his house. When this letter has been read among you, cause it to be read also in the assembly of the Laodiceans, that you also read the letter from Laodicea. Tell Archippus, take heed to the ministry which you have received in the Lord, that you fulfill it. And I, Paul, write this greeting with my own hand. Remember my chains. Grace be with you. Amen. Can I go back to the beginning of verse 4? I had mentioned in the past when Paul talks about masters and servants. To bring it a little more current, I always kind of replace that wording because, for example, chapter 4, verse 1, it says, "Masters, give to your servants that which is just and equal, knowing that you also have a master in heaven." And I would just change that vocabulary for current times. Employers, give your employees that which is just and equal, knowing that you also have a master in heaven. And I'll just leave it there. All right, Psalm chapter 113. Praise Yah. Praise you, servants of Yahweh. Praise Yahweh's name. Blessed be Yahweh's name from this time forward and forevermore. From the rising of the sun to its going down, Yahweh's name is to be praised. Yahweh is high above all nations, his glory above the heavens. Who is like Yahweh our God, who has his seat on high, who stoops down to see in heaven and in the earth? He raises up the poor out of the dust and lifts up the needy from the ash heap, that he may set him with princes, even with the princes of his people. He settles the barren woman in her home as a joyful mother of children. Praise Yah. He loves us so much. I cannot figure out why Christianity, maybe even Judaism, maybe even Muslim, when we read about God, I cannot wrap my head around why the focus has been leaned so hard on his punishment and wrath for those who do not obey. Because over and over and over again, we've been reading how he loves us and he wants peace for our lives. He's kind and gentle. So, anyways, I will leave that with you today. I do hope you have the most fantastic day today. Please come back for tomorrow, which is going to be day 216. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.